If you really think about all the debates I've had, all of my most like epic own moments are usually me asking a very simple question or making a very simple point. Like with the Owen Schroyer thing, it was the dinosaur question. Or it was like, what's the difference between a democracy and a republic? Do you even know what that is? Like, it's usually like, I can't think of any own moments like where it's like, oh, epic shit, where it's like destiny lays out complicated and nuanced explanation of a thing. And then the person gets on. Usually they just like move on and it doesn't even stick. The Ukraine speech was good. Yeah, but that wasn't a debate really, right? I was just like I was just narrativizing basically, which is good too. Narrativizing is something I need to do as well. It's narrativizing and then punchy lines. Like if I know more or if I know something and the person's not ready for me to know it, then they just like move on. It's like, oh, okay. And then they just move on. It's like, wait, I don't even feel like I got a good own here. It just, wait, what just happened? What was the point? What was the point of this? I didn't get anything for this.
Come into this country, come in. It's not complex.
And then to be clear, you think that that's the case right now?
That's the case right now. And that is the case what the Democrats want. That is correct. They have sanctuary cities all over my state.
Excuse me, sanctuary city has nothing to do with immigration policy.
Oh, sure as it does. If you are here illegally, we will not allow ICE or anyone else to take you away. You can come. That's what sanctuary city means.
That is not what a sanctuary city is. That's not what a sanctuary... Sure, I can tell you what it means. When it comes to enforcing immigration, that is exclusively in the purview of the United States government. Now, it tends to be the case that if you're a state official, you can collect information about whether or not a person is here legally or not. And if you want, you can turn that information over to federal authorities like Immigrations and Customs Enforcement or like Department of Homeland Security. You don't have an obligation to do so. And some cities explicitly say we won't. So a sanctuary city is just a city where they arrest you. They're not going to do an immigration check, and if you fail, they're going to turn you over to the federal authorities. As somebody that is a conservative, who I imagine would have an appreciation for the concept of federalism, but the important protections of states' rights, because that's what we said when we threw abortion back to the states, you should champion a state deciding whether or not they would want to cooperate with a federal authority when it comes to turning somebody over for matters of deportation. But essentially, so like on paper, okay, well, so he thought I didn't know what this meant. Not only do I know what it means, I also know why he's wrong, and I know why it's contradictory to his own ideology. You're a conservative. You believe in states' rights. Why would you sit here and be bullying individual states to comply with the federal government or something they don't agree with, right? So I feel like this is pretty, but it doesn't really hit or matter because he's just like, oh, okay, and then we just move on. Sanctuary city does not legalize illegal immigration. It's just whether or not a city wants to cooperate with federal investigators when it comes to turning over an undocumented citizen or immigrant.
Fine. Okay, we can continue.
Do you agree with that, Dennis? I mean, what was the point of that? I should have just called him like a fucking loser. I should have said you're a loser with glasses or something. I don't know. Like, what was it? What was even the point of that? I didn't even get like there's no catharsis. It's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe I guess maybe it comes off as an own, but. The optics were good here, no? Yeah, I guess, but he just like moves on. It's like, oh, okay, I don't know, man. Whatever.
Of the House and the Senate.
Right.
What do you plan to accomplish in your first 100 days in office?
Well, we're going to do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll
like he's just doing the thing, right? Like, what do we need to do about jobs? We need to give unions the power to make workers better. And so everybody can have better jobs and be working way better. Like, that's like his answer to everything. And it works.
100 days in office.
Well, we're going to do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll be our first signal, and the first signal to America that we're not playing games. We have people coming in by the millions, as you know, and a lot of people shouldn't be here. Most of them shouldn't be here, but we have jails being emptied into our country. We have mental institutions from all over the world being emptied into our country. So we'll be doing that. We're going to be extending within that period, or as soon as we can, the Trump tax cuts, because you know they're coming due and they're very substantial for people, and it would be very, I think it will anger a lot of people, frankly, if we don't get an extension of that. That's what led us to one of the greatest economies ever. And
some guy emailed me and said it was stupid. This is all I hear now. And I think this is right. We need to just do this. I don't even want to, God, this is so boring. It's all good. I just need to go back to video games. I watched the clip of you reading the email that uses a motorcycle hobby analogy in the context of modern social media to explain how politics is just slogans, quote unquote, now. I'm concerned that you're going down a path of rediscovering things that have been true in this country for a long time, so it's best to read from people who've already done the heavy lifting for you. The following is a quote from a book published in 2003. More details down below. Words italicized are mine. To add clarifying context, I can't add it all in here. Quote, democracy does have decisive advantages, at least for the wealthy, secure societies, over alternative forms of government. But they are not advantages that depend on deliberation, on analogies to scientific inquiry, on a lively and informed public interest in public issues, or in civic mindedness. People's interests, preferences, and opinions influence government, certainly, though I'm sorry, certainly through the electoral process and otherwise, but not in the way that views expressed in a faculty meeting influence faculty decisions through debate and pooling of ideas. The roles of the people at large in the governance of a large democratic nation is a mere shadow of its role in the concept of deliberative democracy. People know when things are going well or going badly, and then he adds, to the extent that things are as they believe them to be, whether for themselves personally or for the nation as a whole. Their own welfare is, of course, bound up with the nation's and will vote accordingly, but that's about it. The political parties know this, and so their campaigns appeal mainly to interests rather than the good, and do so largely in simplistic slogans, end quote. The author goes on to argue that it wouldn't even be desirable to aim for an idealistic system where people as a whole are, quote, better informed, end quote, and become better engaged with information/media, and it makes a pretty compelling case for its position. This is a passage from the book Law, Pragmatism, and Democracy by Richard Posner, a former Seventh Circuit judge from the Court of Appeals. This is probably the best book that explains American democracy with a focus on pragmatism. If you were to read it, you would immediately see a clear path forward. You're wasting a lot of time being surprised by Vivek, Musk, Trump, Rogan, Techno Bros, Tim Pool, etc., spreading fake news and easy to understand slogans. Yes, they are doing it on purpose, and no, they are not stupid. Okay, Rogan is stupid, but he is a useful puppet, and his podcast is a gold mine for these people and the IDW type folk. I would be surprised to find out that they didn't talk about Rogan being an idiot behind closed doors. You're being dumber than them by not accepting that this is how things work, and you have to start employing their strategies if you want to stand a chance. Remember that webcam video of Ben Shapiro soying out at Tim Walz after he was chosen as Kamala's running mate? That's what conservatives see when they see you soying out about Rogan saying the millionth dumb shit. They just think it's funny. Quote, I'm going to build a wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it, end quote. 2 sentences, that's it, sometimes 3, but more than that, you've lost people. Use their example. To be clear, I'm not saying that you should lie and spread fake news, but your messaging needs to become way more reductive. Reserve explanations or substantive conversations/debates with people like Pisco or the unicorn conservatives like the tax guy who engage in good faith. Oh, that I think he's referring to a debate I had a couple weeks ago. If they're not in this category, flip a switch and go into sophistry mode. Your over-reliance on intellectual or logical or nuanced defenses and attacks is starting to look like an issue of display of ego because it's clear that using dumb language would be more effective. Let it go and be effective. Example, to Tim Pool or Rubin, quote, you're a Russian puppet and you got paid because Russia loves your anti-American message, end quote. Whatever the reply is, the best strategy is to repeat that slogan. That's what Tim Pool would be doing to you. Don't let opportunities like this slip away. I think this is kind of how, I think this is the position that I kind of stumbled upon when I realized, like, for the media, like, you have to just find a simple thing and repeat it, like on peers, like, what is this? Answer this. What is this? This was bad. This is dumb. This is bad. Like, and it just needs to be that. Because I think going any further than that is just a waste of time, which is sad and stupid. This is what Trump just did. He just repeated like 5 slogans that mean nothing. Like, what is, like,
it's from all over the world being emptied into our country. So
jails are being emptied into our country. Insane people are coming over. They don't belong here. Build the wall. Tax cuts. And like, that's it. It's just like nothing here is, everything here is.
Grover Cleveland to win non-consecutive terms. Republicans now have control.
He never expands on it. I feel like what Donald Trump has done is, I feel like we all kind of like played a game. And then we all, but we pretend that we're not playing the game. And then Donald Trump is like, wait a second, this is just a game, right? So I can just like do this, right? And then it's like, well, we're not supposed to do it like that. But I mean, I guess you technically could. You know what it kind of reminds me of? In the 90s and 2000s, I guess, like people loved like the huge tittied chick with like fake boobs, right? It was a thing. It was a look for a while before the girl next door then kind of became popular. But like people loved that fake boober, the Pamela Andersons and all the plastic surgery shit. But people would always say, or at least my recollection is people would be like, I want a chick with huge tits, right? And then you'd be like, you know her tits are fake, right? And be like, no, I just want huge tits or whatever. I want huge knockers, huge boobs, okay? But in 2024, living in Miami Beach, guys don't even say, and I understand this is like a hyper crazy part of the world, but like guys here won't even say, I want a girl with huge tits, wink, wink, or I want a girl with a huge ass, wink, wink. They'll be like, I want the BBL. I want the fake tits. Like they call out for that directly. And it's very interesting to see kind of the shift, at least down here in Miami Beach. I don't know if this has like made its way to other parts of the country or world or podcast space or whatever, but I'm like, interesting. But that's not what your audience is built on. We like being well informed and not getting dumb, simplistic messaging, so it doesn't really apply to you, does it? Well, no, not on my stream. I wouldn't just sloganeer in my stream, but I would, like, when I prepare for debates, I should be preparing for debates more like that.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.